I don't know shit.
I don't know.
I don't know shit.
Coley, go ask Preacher Man.
I don't know shit.
He says he knows.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Go ask Mr. Politician.
I don't know shit.
He says he knows. But me?
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Coley here, new episode of Revolutionary. Bear with me on this one. It's going to be long and dense and have a lot of components, and it might seem like it's a little all over the place, but there's an important message in it. I've been talking to a couple buddies of mine, my man Konstantin, who's from Ukraine, data scientist who I talked to at Samitra, and Omaka, who's a poet and spiritual healer who speaks at the Unitary Church down in Gulfport. We just had some really beautiful chats about the world, God, Tao, universe, love, whatever you want to call it, and the state of humanity. And we're going to start going on a speaking tour of some sort at the churches, where I'm going to speak on the making of Jeebus and politics and Christianity, because it's a flashpoint in the United States right now. You have the rise of Christian nationalism, the rise of some people saying Trump is Christ, second coming. Some people saying Trump is the Antichrist, and some people saying that there's going to be civil war and violence in the streets if we crucify this man. And there's the war in Ukraine and Putin and Zelensky, and these things are all interconnected, right? I mean, to be very specific, I mean, Trump even called Zelensky to say, hey, I'm not going to give you that American aid we promised unless you find some dirt on my opponent. So that's why he was impeached the second time. Just one of the many crimes, side note. I'm not here to take a position on any of that stuff. That stuff's all dirty and mucky and political and all that. But I think it's dividing all of us and causing us to be very angry at each other in the name of nationalism, in the name of one man, in the name of identity. We're having like identity wars, right? So here in the United States, we're having this identity war where you have the rise of Christian nationalism, where there's a group of people saying, America is a Christian nation, i.e. white, and it's supposed to be white culture, and all these immigrants coming is making it not white and not Christian, and to keep our country, to save our country, to remain who we are willing to fight in the streets and kill for it. And then you have in Russia a leader who's saying Ukraine is one with Russia. Ukrainians are not Ukrainians, Ukrainians are Russians, and they're the same as us. And in the name of fundamentalism, they will become us, and they will be like us. And if you are not like us, then we will kill you till you accept and bow down to the fact that you are us. And you take a step back as a man who's sitting at a beach town, playing beach bum Jesus and smoking some weed and eating bagels. Like, it's insane. That's insane, man. Like, imagine I'm sitting across me and Putin, or me and Trump, or me and any human on the planet, and I say, live and let live. And then they go, yeah, no, you have to say what I'm saying, or I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to kill your people. How is that a conversation? How is that a conversation that anyone's having in humanity? Like, that's clinically insane. If you were to do it on the street, you'd be like, that's insane, right? Like, say I'm walking down the street and I decide, in the name of justice, I'm going to go kill this man because it's the right thing to do. He's a bad man and he's not on the side of us, and I'm going to kill him, and that proves that he's us. You would look at me and go, that man's a crazy man, and I would go to prison, right? I'd go, thank God for the American legal system. I would go to prison because you can't do that. That's not my call to make. We got to all agree on the fair playing rules. The second that you think you are so righteous that you can hurt another person is the second you're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. The second you think you can hurt another person in the name of righteousness, you've become the bad guy. So we can all try to preach our ideology. We can all try to preach our views of God and identity and life. And are we Christian? Are we Buddhist? Are we Taoist? Are we Chinese? Are we Russian? Are we American? Are we Ukrainian? What are we? I don't know what we are. We're all human beings. There's another level of this beyond where this tribalism is fighting to, it's like tribalism is fighting to say, okay, we're going to kill each other until we're all one. That's insane. Oh, there'd be no problems if we all spoke the same language and we were all the same people, and then we wouldn't have all these conflicts. We'd all be one people. Yeah, that'd be great, but that's not how it is. We all evolved from fucking lizards into whatever the fuck we are now in these various components. And Chinese people tend to be, Chinese, and Russians tend to be Russian. And the beauty of America was that we're a melting pot. Anyone can be American. Anyone. You can come from anywhere in the world and become American. It's open source software. You're allowed to be it. Anyone can be it. It's not ethnocentric, and that causes a lot of problems in the short term because, we're not homogeneous. We're not just one type of people. We're a bunch of people trying to figure it out with different religions, cultures, customs, etc. And that causes all this discord. But it's actually what makes us stronger and innovative, because we aren't bound by nationalism. We aren't bound by identity. We aren't bound by religion. We are bound by ideas that are bigger than all of us, that God created us with the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Live and let live. You can go make your sandbox the way you want to make your sandbox. I'm going to go make my sandbox the way I want my sandbox. I'm not going to go poop in your sandbox. You don't go poop in my sandbox. You might not like what I say in my sandbox. Might not like what you say in your sandbox, but I'm not going to go kill you because you don't agree with my sandbox. I don't give a shit. Live and let live. I'm going to nurture and heal and grow my sandbox, and you can go do whatever you want with your little piece of the sandbox. And hopefully there's enough sandboxes to go around for everyone, so we don't get into a resource war where it gets real, where it's like 2 dogs, 1 steak, and you're fighting over resources like land, fish, energy, food. That's where shit gets real hyper real. But I tend to be of the belief that I think God and Tao is prosperous and abundant and has provided enough for all of us to coexist on this planet, on Eden, in our own little part of the sandbox, if we're just fair and share and love and give and communicate and try to work it all out. Let's try to work this out. Like, there's a bigger issue. We don't, as a species, as a human species, we don't have time or the energy for World War III. If we go World War III and it's Russia versus China versus US versus Democrats versus Republicans versus the fundamentalists in America versus the fundamentalists in Iran versus the fundamentalists in Russia, and they're all like, no, it must be our culture, not your culture, and it's a culture war, and we all fight. Well, guess what you're going to do? You're going to put a lot of carbon into the atmosphere. You're going to blow up a lot of bombs. A lot of people are going to lose limbs. A lot of people are going to be crying and hurt. For what? Nothing. For nothing. That's just dark, negative shit. You can't say that that's for God. If you are saying killing in the name of God, you are now the bad guy, okay? That's the rules. If you kill, you're the bad guy, okay? Life must be preserved. Life must be important. And we got to have the same set of rules and the same fair play, that at least no man kills another man to instill his ideology on the other man. It needs to be a conversation. We all got to be talking, right? And I think what America needs to do is go to China and say, okay, you're now becoming a superpower. We were the prior superpower. You're rising. And instead of this being conflict, instead of being a Taiwan crisis and Taiwan Strait crisis again, and we all go to war, why don't we say, hey, welcome to the table. Welcome to the table, China. You now have a seat. Let's try to work this thing out together. East meets West. And there's a lot we can learn from each other, right? Western culture is better at innovation. One entrepreneur comes up with an idea and can make it happen in America. One creator, like a Coley, can come up with an idea and turn it into a movie that's all of a sudden on Netflix and everyone sees it. I couldn't do my career in any other country, and that's why I love America. It's like, if I was criticizing my own government, my own religion, my own political and religious leaders in any other country, I'd probably be in prison or dead already. But in America, we honor that and value that, so that's beautiful. And in China, they value iteration. Not as much they'll throw 1 million people at it, and the first person might not get it, but the thousands will. And they're better at organization and systemization, and they built hospitals in 4 days during the pandemic. We're sitting here, fighting over individualism of who gets to wear a mask and who doesn't, while they're meanwhile building a hospital in 4 days and taking care of the problem and putting COVID out. So we're both better at different things, and we got to give each other credit, right? Instead of being like, no, you must do it our way. Why don't we be like, yo, your way's kind of dope for some things and my way's kind of dope for some things. And let's see how we can combine our ways and make everything better, because you got some good ideas, I got some good ideas. How do we put them together to make it work? You need innovation and iteration. You need individualism and community. You need socialism and capitalism. If you're playing basketball, you wouldn't just learn man-on-man defense or zone defense. You would learn both. And depending on the situation, you would play appropriately. And I think that's what we got to do with geopolitics. It's like we can't demonize each other's ideology or race or nationalism and say ours is right and I am willing to kill you and exterminate you until you agree with me that mine is right. That's going to lead us to nowhere. It's going to be a big barren wasteland of post-nuclear war. The only thing living is going to be the fucking cockroaches. That's what we could have. Like, if we keep going down the path of what humanity and mankind has done for thousands of millennia, we're just going to be dead and barren. It's going to be like Mad Max, like gasoline and no water and everything's hot and the whole planet's overburnt, because scientists and mathematics has told us that if we don't change the industrial revolution that we've done over the past 300 years, the earth is going to respond with more tornadoes, floods, bad shit, hurricanes, scorching tundra, droughts, farming issues. Like, it's real. It's happening now. Like, it's like per year, per math, there is X billion dollars spent on fixing what climate change causes, global warming causes. Like the floods in Pakistan, the droughts in the American West, the forest fires in the American West. They all have a cost. If you all love your economy so much, you love your business so much, let's just do it through the business lens then. All that shit has a cost, and we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year already, now. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars now to clean up the mess caused by climate change. So why don't we, instead of spending hundreds of billions of dollars cleaning up the messes and fighting wars against each other over the resources, why don't we spend those hundreds of billions of dollars on green energy revolution, planting trees, solar, wind, turbines, geothermal, fusion, fission, nuclear. World War III doesn't need to be a war. It can be a community project. Why don't, instead of all the world powers get together like Hitler, United States, Germany, World War II, instead of World War III being Russia, US, China, and we all die, that's terrible, that sounds terrible. Why don't we make it, we all come together to nurture and heal the earth together. So instead of China fighting for Chinese ideology and Russia fighting for Russian ideology and US fighting for US ideology, why don't we just say, I like your way, you like your way, we all got poems, we all got poetry, we all got our style, we all got our culture, it's all dope. Coley does it his way, Omaka does it his way, Constantine does it his way, Buddhism does it their way, Taoism does it their way, Jesus does it his way, Buddha does it his way. We all got different ways of doing shit, and it's all valid. Let's hear each other and compare notes and work together. And World War III doesn't need to be a fight. World War III can be the US, China, and Russia nurturing the earth together. Instead of us all coming together and we could all come together to nurture Eden. We all were given this fucking rock. We were given this fucking rock in the middle of the universe. There's the Big Bang, a bunch of nothingness. Things start expanding from there. Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen. Next thing you know, you got a star. A fucking star. What the fuck is a star, man? You got a star? Like a fucking star? What magic is that shit? It's a star. The sun. Our sun. It's a star. It's a magical thing. It creates all the energy we could ever fucking need. And it rains it on us. And then because the moon knocked into the earth and now that goes around, now there's water. And there's water in tides because of this moon, and the way the tides go with the moon is like fucking synchronous. It's like intelligent design. And all the women have their periods in tune with the moon. That's some crazy shit. And we're all flowing in it. Boom. And it's all there. And boom, boom. And what are we going to do on our shores? What are we going to do with our magical life that was given to us on this little piece of Eden, this little rock in the middle of the universe? That's really rare. There's not life. We haven't found other life. There's probably aliens. There's probably extraterrestrials. There's probably mathematically other living organisms somewhere in the universe, because if it happened here, it could happen somewhere else if it's an infinite universe. But as far as we can see currently, we're pretty lucky. We're super, like, mathematically, infinitesimally lucky, like magically lucky to exist on this planet. And we're fucking it up. It's like a poem or a test or a like God, universe, love, whatever you want to call it, is like, here humanity, you have the earth and you can be the shepherd of this Eden, and you can either turn it into an abundant garden upon which everyone eats from the fruits, or you can wage war on its shores. What are you going to choose? And we got to choose right. Let's choose love. Let's choose light. Let's choose growth. Let's choose sustainability. Let's choose healing, nurturing. Like, instead of just, let's all just nurture this thing and make it work. You know, to take it on the human level, right here, intimate, me and you, right here. You're sitting right here, you're listening to me. And I'm sitting right here and I'm talking, right? And 20 minutes ago, I could be getting a massage. And I'm getting a massage and I'm feeling the beauty of that. And I'm like, man, I'm lucky. This feels good. I feel healing. I don't have any desire to hurt anybody or do anything bad because I'm feeling a massage, right? But somewhere right now, there's a Ukrainian in a trench. And limb gone. Or no longer existing. Doesn't exist anymore. This was a man who had ideas just like this man. Or woman. Any human sentient being. And they no longer exist. Because someone said they have to agree with what they said. Or they're going to eliminate. That's some dark shit. That's some really dark shit. Like, life is so precious. Life is so rare. It's so magical. It's really special. And yet we all have access to it. So none of us are special. We're just part of this zeitgeist, and we gotta agree on the same golden rule or something. Like, live and let live. Like, just do unto others as you would to yourself. Like, we can't, the second that you think you're so right, it's okay to hurt another person in the name of your righteousness, is the second you became the bad guy. And look, we've all been the bad guy, we've all been the good guy. In all these situations in life, whether you're at the bar and this thing happens here, or this this thing, like all that small drama and the things that happen in life, and look, we've all been the good guy, we've all been the bad guy. But like, from the macro perspective, we got to set aside our differences, set aside, you know, ego and emotionalism and this like lizard brain part of us that like kill to win thing, and just love and just nurture and just be in it together. I hope that makes sense. God help me, I hope that made sense. I know it's a lot. I know it's all over the place, but there's something in there that's really profound that I've been experiencing the past couple of days that is extremely important, where it's not just fluff, it's not just kumbaya, it's real shit, like super real shit. Like, people are hurting right now all around the world, and we're hurting each other, and we don't have to. I just think there's a better way, man. Kind of makes me want to cry tears of joy or for sadness. I don't know which. I don't know whether I'm a genius or I'm insane. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if America is the answer or the cause. I don't know any of these things. I just hope for the best. I hope the light is so bright that everything that's not is just dust, and we just elevate together. Love you all. Coley.
I don't know shit. Right now 76, thinking. I don't know shit. Yeah, I don't know shit.